how does the demographic changes, sociological changes come into play, and how does that impact the future culture of the country, the future fabric, social cohesion, and things like those.
So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a challenge that I guess a lot of faith communities are only starting to learn how to grapple with at the moment. I think maybe a few years ago, a few decades ago, because religion was so entrenched in society, it was a lot easier to get people to understand. But now, as we're moving towards a more globalized world, a more multicultural world, people are exposed to so much more. And people, I think young people are now making the choice to, venture off a bit more, question why their family is even, part of this faith, this particular faith, and also question whether it's truly aligning with their own beliefs and values. And I think that's where, we get a different generation who is wanting to choose for themselves and do not want it to be enforced upon them. And I don't think that means that we get a more rebellious sort of generation. I think it means that we actually get, like the generation that we have at the moment, the society of young people, are people who have explored and they have friends from so many different faiths, and from that multiculturalism or that diversity that they have, they actually start to question it more.
So you're saying that because they have more friends who have a different faith, they have so there are less people of faith. Because that will happen with a young boy for second generation of any faith. If you are uprooted from, for example, a child born in a different country of a faith comes here and then sees other people of different faiths, and then start growing up in a different society, which is more. Some people don't have a faith at all, and so probably. And that's probably the questioning is that, they don't have a faith, and these guys have faith and they behave like that. So there are probably too many options out there. And so I don't know.
I guess I don't think it's like that's the experience for everyone. I think the experience of faith is very individualistic in a sense of like it really depends on the person. I've met people who have been in religious groups their entire life, and once they got an opportunity to sort of be independent, they went 180 and didn't want to be a part of the community anymore, or part of that faith anymore. But there's also people who, by meeting people of faith, they get more involved in faith. And then there's also people who, for example, are of a particular faith, they meet so many people from other faiths, and yet they still actually feel more entrenched in their own faith. So there's so many different reactions.
That's very powerful on that front, because when you meet other people of faith, so that you see somewhat similar values, and then you say, okay, because I am a person of this faith, I can actually value their values. So then I value my own values of my own faith. So that's probably the mirror which they see every time.